This is the degenerate freak that murdered a innocent good man, father of two, husband, someone that has inspired so many people in America to find God and become better people. This is the absolute degenerate freak that killed him. Now, we found out a lot more. It turns out there's a whole conspiracy involved. It turns out there's a giant conspiracy where there are other people implicated. We'll be looking into that today. And also, he's getting the death penalty. Or at least they're trying to get him the death penalty. He'll probably succeed. And he actually reacts to that. They do an interview with this guy from prison. We're gonna look at that. Today, we're basically gonna be making fun of this retard because he deserves it. And I'll be real, this is insane. Ruined my life for below mid bussy award. Right? Fucking insane, furry ass, transgender, gay motherfucker over here. Literally unbelievable that this is happening. So yes, you're right that the killer is just a mentally ill man, but it's a mentally ill man that's being driven to vicious violence by the far left in America. I wanna start off with a disclaimer. Disclaimer. I will not be doing tiptoeing and saying both sides have a lot of problems here, because while there are absolutely crazies on both sides, one of the sides is a fucking terrorist propagandist machine. And fuck those guys. So this is not both sides anymore. We're not doing the both sides. This is a man that hated himself and that hated God, and he killed a good man. And fuck him. Honestly, fuck him. Don't care. Anyway, so this was the moment where they mentioned that they are actually seeking the death penalty on this guy.
Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes.
All right, let's see what we got.
Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others.
Fuck, dude.
Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression.
True!
And did so knowing that children
prove
were
that in
present
court
and would witness the homicide.
Yes!
The state is also
Bro, we gotta get Old Testament on their asses.
Defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting.
Throw everything at him.
Count 5,
throw the book
witness
at him.
Tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating text.
Oh, shit.
Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if he questioned him.
By the way.
And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
Base!
I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page information.
All right. Very nice. Love that. Definitely execute him. I fully support that. See, a lot of people on the left tried to make this a moment of, how could you be pro-life and want the death penalty? Because the Bible was pro-life and wanted the death penalty. All right? So your contradictions don't work. None of it. None of that shit works. Why are you mad when Charlie Kirk died, but you literally want this guy to die? Because he killed somebody. Sorry, you kill your life, you take a life, you forfeit yours. I fully support this, 100%. It's literally in the fucking Bible because it's based as fuck. All right? Head on a spike shit, I'm all for it. I think decapitation would be really nice. I don't want no lethal injection gay shit. He's getting injected. He's been injected for years. All right, we could do something else. Literally, fuck this shit. Unbelievable. Now, Christians have a moral obligation to love unconditionally. But I'm not Christian. Fuck this guy. All right? I love God, and I love good people, and I love people that do love God. But this guy is a pro-mutilation demon. Fuck him. Very excited for the news that he's executed. To execution. I'm sorry. I believe in justice. Anyway, and so did God. All right, so I'm in good company. So these are the leaked DMs. These are the leaked messages between the killer and his roommate slash transgender gay furry boyfriend. Pretty good, pretty good. All right. Anyway, let's see what the messages are. I didn't read this yet. I just heard it was crazy. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right? Robinson," this is the murderer. "I'm still okay, my love." Yeah, roommate. "But I am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still." Okay, so now we know it's his rifle. "To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age." Yeah, but you got caught. This is crazy. "I'm sorry it involves you." Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I'm sorry. All right, so he admits it. So he admits it in text. All right. They keep saying that he didn't admit it. Maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe there was someone else. All right, so he admits it in text to his roommate. Holy shit. "I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude that interrogated someone in similar clothing." Oh, the crazy old dude, by the way, ended up getting arrested for having child porn on his phone. "I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah. I had enough of his hatred." All right, so he's a far lefty. Obviously, we all knew this because, duh. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? All right, so he's a far lefty, obviously. Enough of his hatred, bro. And if they tried to blame the Groybers, they tried to blame the Nick Fuentes fans for this, bro, they would have said he didn't hate enough. He would have said he was a slave to the Jews. That's what they would have fucking said. Enough of his hatred. This is lefty shit. See, this murderer over here, this murderer, savage, fucking freak, he's above all that. He has no hate in his heart. Dude, fuck these people. Unbelievable. And by the way, I want to make something, some hate can't be negotiated out. I firmly believe, by the way, that people believe this on the left, because it's literally what the media keeps saying, that they're fascists and Nazis. How are you going to negotiate with a Nazi, right? How are you going to negotiate if it's a Nazi? This is crazy. There is absolutely no humanity here. This is not, it's not negotiable. This is terrorism, and a lot of people feel this way, by the way. This is literally a death cult where they teach you how you should celebrate mutilating your own bodies, all right? Like, it literally is a death cult, and people are cheering this on. It's become very obvious that this is not a both sides thing. Enough of this hatred. Now, you have to realize what we're doing here. The media so this guy has a transgender boyfriend, okay? I'm gonna tell you something. The media keeps saying that there's a trans genocide, that Trump is trying to round up and kill the trans people. If that was the case, if that was really the case, which it's not, okay? This absolutely is not true, okay? But if it was true, wouldn't you have to murder the enemy? If they're trying to murder you and your loved ones, as mentally ill as they actually are. So, without a shadow of a doubt, this shit is obviously incited. There's no both sides issue. This isn't a both sides issue. This is a I hate God versus I love God issue. It really is good versus evil. Like, these people will lie, manipulate, propagandize. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unfathomably evil. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I circled back, grabbed it as soon as I got my vehicle. I don't know, man. This is crazy. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back my grandpa's rifle, right? Yeah, obviously. Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about my prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. I didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. Oh, so this was like super premeditated. Like, this is crazy. I might have abandoned it, and I hope they don't find my prints. How the fuck am I supposed to explain losing it to my old man? The only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Bro, that's a red fucking flag. You're gonna tell me that this trans roommate wasn't in on this shit? This is like some Walter White fucking videotape shit, okay? This is some Walter White videotape shit. I did this all alone. Jesse was not involved with anything. I did it myself the entire time. No one knew. My family was unaware. I forced them to do it. They were the enemy the whole time. They didn't know I was Heisenberg all along. Yeah, you fucking retard. Get the fuck out of here. You're seeing your gay ass sodomized boyfriend engraving fucking bullets, and you don't wonder what the fuck is happening? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge ooh on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really sucks. Judgment I've seen today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I think that was a 2K scope. Delete this exchange, right? Destruction of evidence and, you know, the boyfriend helping. My dad wants photos of this rifle. There's no way someone in my chat just called me transphobic for calling him a boyfriend and not a girlfriend, because that was the preferred pronouns. We're not playing this game. I'm sorry. We're not doing this anymore. I hope you're trolling, because I am so past the point of giving a fuck about these people's feelings. He said Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle. It's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad's been pretty diehard MAGA. Okay, so he's a far leftist, right? Like, this is obviously a far leftist. Like, as obvious as it was. Right, we know that this is a socialist, leftist. Everyone says he's a leftist. Fucking wrote Antifa, anti-fascist shit on his bullet. Like, we know. You know what else he wrote on his bullet, by the way? I saw this and I lost my fucking mind. He wrote on one of his bullets, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, right? The Italian anti-fascist song. Ready to lose your fucking mind? There's no way he deleted it. Oh my god, I think he deleted it. I'm in shock. Alright, he didn't delete it. This is a video from 2 years ago. So, you're gonna tell me that this is Hasan Piker? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Obviously, there's a problem on the left. Obviously, there's a leftist problem over here. Like, what are we doing? The country is fucking sick. And there is an insurgent, radical, domestic terrorist force. So, anyway. My dad wants photos of the rifle. Grandpa wants to know who has what, right? He's a diehard MAGA. I'm gonna turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you, says the roommate. What do you mean you're worried about him? He's a fucking dirty, fucking murdering bitch psycho. You're worried about him? Please don't talk to the media, please. Don't take interviews, make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for lawyers, stay silent. All right. Now, we all know that this is a radical, brainwashed left, and there's an insurgent problem in the country. We know that all the fucking teachers are sitting out there cheering for the murder of Charlie Kirk. This is obviously indoctrination, without even a shadow of a doubt. That's why Charlie Kirk was so dangerous. Because, see, a 30-minute conversation with Charlie Kirk could undo 4 years of propaganda in college. And people were scared of that. Right? Dude, you have to understand. There's no normal human being in the world that thinks there's more than 2 genders. If you think there's more than 2 genders, you were indoctrinated into a fucking cult. You were. I'm sorry to break this breaking news to you. If you think there's more than 2 genders, you're in a cult. Because there's no normal, reasonable reason for you to fucking think that way. It's absolute insanity. So, anyway, it's so obvious that there's a cult issue. Here's Dan Bongino from the FBI, breaking news. He just went on to say that he's investigating a actual conspiracy that got us there.
Everyone, on this Monday morning, we saw an outpouring of support.
Nux, you're so hateful. I can't believe you're so hateful for saying there's only 2 genders. No. Hateful is shooting a man in the neck for disagreeing with you and then celebrating. That's hateful. Me telling you there's 2 genders is being a normal fucking human being with an operating, functioning brain. And if you think there's more than 2 genders, I'm not just gonna sit here and say that you are wrong. I think you are an actual lobotomized retard manlet that has been absolutely propagandized by a death cult. All right? I'm not doing the I disagree, agree to disagree. There's no agree to disagree. There's no both sides. There's no everyone needs to turn down the temperature. There is you are part of a dehumanizing death cult indoctrination shit. And I don't blame you. Necessarily. However, that's what's up. That's what we're doing. And we can't play this game anymore.
From coast to coast over the weekend, north into Canada for the late Charlie Kirk, how people across the country now are paying tribute, as we say. Although, somber weekend, we'll get to everything this coming week. We'll take it day by day.
I'm still like actually broken up over this, man.
Welcome to our coverage as we begin anew to our old friend.
Tough couple of days. Good morning to you. Good to see you. I'm Aisha, and this is America's Newsroom. So it was a weekend of remembrance, Bill. Everybody from musicians to athletes and everyday Americans all mourning Charlie Kirk. Charlie!
This is exactly what the leftists did when George Floyd died, right? Right, guys? Right? It's basically the exact same reaction. Wow, both sides, right? Look, notice how the flames are very contained on these candles. See, during the leftists, things got a little out of hand and they decided to burn down the fucking city for 2 months. But basically the same reaction, am I right? Yeah, there isn't a terrorism issue on the far left. And by the way, that's all political violence. All the lighting buildings on fire, that's all political violence during the BLM riots. Every single one. Every single person that was part of those riots was a terrorist, in my opinion. All right? Actually breaking the law for political ideals, that's what we call terrorism. And it's not cited that way in the data and in the statistics. All right, you have to remember this. Every single time someone's going to show you some fucking meme, random, cringe, ADL statistic chart about how there's so much violence on the right, a political right, you have to remember that every time a white guy does violence, it's considered a political violence, and every time the left literally burns our cities down, that's considered peaceful protests. The statistics are all lies. We're living in a society that is managed by lies.
It hit me harder in the last couple of days, and I just wanted to let Eric know.
I feel like this is really, it's really, every once in a while, there's a moment in history that makes it really obvious to tell that there's good versus evil. When there's an act that your very soul hurts because of what you just witnessed. You can tell so obviously that we're really living in good versus evil. All right, and it's not just about political ideals and discussion. All right, and this is one of them. This is one of them. I think for me, the last one like this was October 7th, seeing people cheering innocent people getting murdered and raped. Right? But it happens every couple of years. You have like a moment that it's just like, wow, God is real and evil is real. Not subjective, I disagree with your opinions. No, this is evil. It's crazy, man. By the way, a song about Charlie Kirk is now the #1 category on all billboards in America. It's crazy.
We are sending prayers our way.
USA! USA! USA!
So now we know that Charlie Kirk's memorial service is set for Sunday in Arizona.
Yeah.
President Trump will be there. It will be held in a football stadium where the Arizona Cardinals play. Capacity 78,000 possibly.
Wow.
This is Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, reacted to the assassination on Friday evening and then sent out a few of these photos from over the weekend. She
Destiny was making fun of this picture, right? Classic.
vows to continue his life.
Everyone thinks that I'm upset that Destiny did that. I'm actually not. I'm a very pragmatic man. I tend to not normally get like all bent out of shape. I want this to be really clear. I am very grateful. Everyone in my chat saying like fuck Destiny and shit. No. It is so nice. It is so kind of Destiny to show us that it is good versus evil and it's not about political principles. It really is very nice of him. You're looking at this the wrong way. You are all looking at this the wrong way.
Legacy and make the movement even stronger.
Thank God for freedom of speech. Never interrupt your enemy when he's kicking his own ass.
Longer than what he started.
Meanwhile, Bill, we are still learning more about his suspected assassin. Officials are telling us that he is not cooperating with them, but his family and his friends are talking. And FBI Director Kash Patel gave us an update on this investigation this morning.
Okay.
I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
So you have the retard conspiracy theorists doing everything in their power to make believe it's not him when there is literally evidence. DNA evidence.
The suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at
and he did say he said he destroyed the note.
FBI.
We're going to get into all of that with FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. He's here with us this morning, but first let's go to Garrett Tenney. He is in Spanish Fork, Utah. Good morning to you.
Aisha, good morning to you. Apart from that note that Director Patel mentioned, we have also learned that Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin also sent a text message to a different individual saying essentially the same thing, that he had an opportunity.
He admitted it on 2 separate text messages. Oh, wow.
Opportunity to take Charlie out and that he was going to do it because he hated what Charlie stood for.
Hold up. Someone just sent me something. He hated what Charlie stood for. Yeah, definitely a leftist, obviously. I don't even know why I feel like I need to repeat this. It's the most obvious shit in the universe. Someone just sent me this. Just 1 month before Charlie Kirk's assassination, a young cross-dressing man in Utah, in other words, probably a transgender, requested the death penalty for himself.
A Washington City woman accused of killing her parents is back in the headlines.
Oh, a woman. A woman, says the media.
This time appealing directly to the Utah Supreme Court. 29-year-old Mia Bailey is facing 10 felony charges, including 2 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of attempted aggravated murder.
Bro, this literally wasn't even on the fucking news. This is on St. George News. This wasn't even mainstream news. We don't know the story about this transgender guy that just murdered 2 of his parents?
After the shocking deaths of her parents, Joseph and
Shocking death? He killed them. What the fuck?
Gail Bailey. Authorities say Bailey also attempted to shoot her brother that same night. She was arrested the next day and has remained in jail ever since, held without bail. Bailey, a transgender woman who legally changed her name and gender in 2023, now finds herself at the center of a legal twist. In late June, Bailey submitted a written request to the judge, appealing to the state's decision not to seek the death penalty. The Utah Supreme Court acknowledged the receipt of the appeal on July 30th, but so far there has been no public response beyond that letter.
Ms. Bailey, there are some things that recently you had submitted something to the court that ultimately was submitted to the higher court.
Yes.
And that has been, and there's some questions as far as just what has been said in there.
In Thursday's court hearing, Bailey's mental competency was discussed.
I hope this dude doesn't rape any women in the female prison that he's in before he gets the death penalty. This is insane, man.
A potential factor on how this high-profile case may unfold.
Your Honor, I set the appeal because it was a contingency plan. I have received advice from my family and fellow friends to offer those
Your Honor, again,
deals.
With the competency.
I'd like to speak, please.
All right. Right now, first, I've ordered to have a competency evaluation report. We'll get that report back, and we'll
we need a competency evaluation report real quick before we release another murderer.
see what it says, okay?
Prosecutors have stated they reviewed the facts carefully before choosing not to pursue the death penalty. As the case continues to develop,
This is crazy. The fucking transgender murderer asked for the death penalty, and they refused. I don't know, man. Does that count to the 42% statistic of transgender people that kill themselves? I don't know. Like, dude, this is an actual death cult. This is actually a death cult, man. I'm like so over it. I'm so over it. It was quirky and cool the way they defied God before, right? You thought it was like a fad, right? You thought it was like a fad, dude. But then it just wasn't a fad. Then they came for your children. Like, this is crazy.
So this is part of the investigation now, looking into who knew what and when. And as part of that, we've learned the FBI is investigating left-wing groups in Utah to see if they knew about the accused killer's plans or provided him with any kind of help.
We're seeing who talked to who, not just in chat groups. We're seeing who texted who was around who. We're using our geofencing capabilities to map out exactly where individuals were. And then we're also getting into their personal cell phone information to say, were you calling so-and-so? Were you texting so-and-so?
Nice.
And we know the suspect was communicating with folks.
Good.
We're also getting a glimpse into the suspect's mindset during the days after the assassination. This new surveillance video obtained by TMZ shows the 22-year-old walking up to UVU's campus the morning of the shooting, just as about 4 hours before it happened, wearing a maroon shirt and light-colored shorts. We know he later changed into this outfit that the FBI released images of. After those images went out, we have learned that some of the suspect's friends in an online group chat were joking that he looked just like those pictures. The New York Times reports that the suspect allegedly replied that his doppelganger was trying to, quote, get me in trouble. And when another friend joked that the group could turn him in for the reward, the suspect allegedly said, quote, only if I get a cut. Back here at the Utah County Jail, officials tell us the suspect is being held in a separate unit under special watch to make sure he doesn't hurt himself or others before his first court appearance tomorrow. We're told he will appear virtually and that ahead of that hearing, prosecutors will formally file charges against him. Aisha?
This is crazy. This is crazy. Holy fuck. Now, a lot of people think, I'm really glad that we're actually looking into this, to be honest. I think this is a really good thing because you'll remember that this person, not this person, but the killer was part of the Democrat Socialist of America group, which, so this guy killed Charlie Kirk. You'll remember that there's someone else that we talked about recently that was also in the Democratic Socialist of America group, Elias Rodriguez, the murderer that murdered 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. He was also part of the Socialist of America group. It's like, are we supposed to make believe that this is just like funny coincidences and it's not an ideology that is pushing these people to violence? Like, this is crazy.
Okay, Garrett Tenney live for us. Garrett, thank you.
So Dan Bongino is the FBI Deputy Director. And sir, thank you for your time this morning. Important stuff here after a very heavy weekend. Thank you for being here. I want to go back to last week on the day that he was killed. Try and clear up a few things as best we can. Did anyone in that crowd aid or assist this assassination?
Well, that's what we're looking into now, Bill. Obviously, we have a suspect in custody. It's quite clear. It's why I'm here discussing this individual. However, if this was a larger effort, there was any aiding and abetting, whether it be financial, whether it be someone who knew the specifics of it and failed to report that. As you heard the director say this morning, we as an FBI, our team, along with our state and local partners, are looking into that. We have a lot of technical capabilities, a lot of good investigative capabilities, where we can scrub that entire network, whether it's OSINT, open source intel, through social media that people posted publicly. We'll be looking at that. We'll also be dropping a lot of paper, a lot of subpoenas out there to take a look to see if there was any extended network. But I want to be clear, there are things I can say, as you well know today, and things I can't. I don't want to get ahead or jeopardize the investigation. But when I can what I can share with you, Bill, I will. We are clinging to transparency here. This is, you know, the era of the Cronkite and Jennings generation is over.
All right, dude. All right, you know what? Like, I love all the things that he's saying. All right, transparency's great. Love that. Transparency's awesome. Could all the young people not go on the media, on the news talking about transparency? Like, it's a bad look. It's a really bad look, man. But speaking of trans, there's a problem there too. I really think that there's a godlessness problem in America. Like, it's getting really scary. Look, man, God made you the way he wanted you to be made, and you went and decided you knew better. Like, there's something wrong, man. There's something crazy here. Right, someone just sent me a tweet. Whose tweet is this? A Matt Walsh tweet? All right, hold on. Let me grab that link. Let's see. Matt Walsh tweet. I am leaning very strongly towards the theory that this text exchange was scripted as a way to absolve the boyfriend. It's almost exactly what Walter White did in Breaking Bad. I said the same thing. This feels like the strategy they'd cook up watching too much TV. I agree, actually. Yeah. No, it does. It sounds like that. It's like, my love, I know that you are not part of this. Remember when you were watching me engrave the fucking bullets? All right, dude.
New media now is media, and we want to be sure we can do everything in our power to share what we can, when we can, while still balancing the needs of the investigation.
Okay, I heard Kash Patel 90 minutes ago in our program. I want to get to a couple of things that he made news on, but first I want to drill in on this. Is there any connection at all between the person who was asking the question about mass shooters and trans killers?
Oh shit!
Or is that just
they're asking him the question on the news, bro?
Stunning coincidence when that single shot was fired.
Yeah.
Well, we're investigating that. I don't want to say conclusively right now if there was a connection or not.
All right, let me tell you something though, and this is a fact. Mentally ill people tend to be more violent, and people with higher suicide rates tend to be more violent. These are mentally ill people with high suicide rates, and they tend to be more violent. People need to start treating transgender people like kind of like we're treating schizophrenics. That, you know, realistically, there is some sort of chemical imbalance in their brains. All right, like, this is crazy. This is fucking insane. Someone sent me another tweet. I don't know why you guys keep sending me tweets. All right, Ilhan Omar. All right, data isn't vibes. If you need vibes, check out the hate-filled comments the right wing will be leaving on this post. Extremist linked deaths from 2013. Right-wing extremist is most of them. Okay, so to be clear, this is literally a lie. All right, because we're playing the fucking game where Luigi Mangione killing a healthcare CEO is not considered left-wing violence, but a white guy beating somebody up is considered right-wing violence. This is a joke. Okay, this is an absolute degenerate joke. And also, there's no fucking numbers on this shit. Literally, what does this even mean? Guys, I actually have stats to show you also. Not trying to dunk on Ilhan Omar, who I would smile if she was deported. But I have a very similar response. All right, check it out. All right, so many. All right, and here we have few. All right, so as you can see, this is all right. Okay, all right. This is you, and this is us. All right, so I have a similar chart, actually. My chart is very similar to hers. What are we thinking, guys? I think it's very similar. I feel like we're on the same page here. Here, let's even reply to her tweet. All right, so I think this is my new statistics. I'm really glad that we were able to you know. All right, you might not like it. Data isn't vibes, okay? All right, data isn't vibes. All right, data is not vibes. All right, so check it out. Literally debunked with facts and logic. Okay, literally debunked with facts and logic. It's so over. It is so over. We just killed him. We just killed her on the timeline. It's literally over. It is literally over. All right, I'm glad we wrapped that one up.
Sometimes Charlie was known to speak out about these issues. He was a powerful voice. it's not terribly uncommon for him to get questions like that. However, we are looking into that, any potential connection here.
Okay, so
we're going to scrub.
I'm not drawing conclusions from your answer, but you're saying it's a possibility. Is
Yeah.
that what I hear you
well,
saying?
if he's saying that they're investigating it, obviously it's a possibility.
We're looking into everything, Bill. There's not going to be a stone left unturned if there was anyone involved who aided or abetted. I can't say that in strong enough terms. Every single FBI asset on this team is being applied and used in this investigation.
All right.
Okay, after he fired that single fatal shot, we've got the video of him jumping off the backside of the building. Where is the gun when he drops 15 feet down to the grass below?
All right.
Well, if you look at the video, the gun is you'll see in the back of the when you're watching the video right there. It appears from the video here that the gun is either in the backpack or on him. When he jumps down, this is where, by the way, this part of the video, this is where we got a significant portion of the forensic evidence in the case, which we had to expedite. We had a number of assets, including fixed wing assets, to be able to fly. If obviously Salt Lake and that specific area in Provo is not around the corner from FBI labs, it was difficult. But we were able, during that scene, him grabbing that particular side of the building and jumping down, we were able to gather a significant amount of forensic information, which we expedited back to the lab, which
you
was.
could see that the gun. You could see the black towel over there. I feel like seeing that there is very possible.
The key, I think, piece of information that we were able to crack this thing open.
Okay. Just looking at that video, it's hard to see the weapon, and that's why the question is still obvious to me.
I really feel like I don't understand what we're doing here, to be honest. Like, I'm really glad that Fox News journalists are figuring this shit out in real time, but, like, what are we doing, guys?
Kash Patel said earlier today that he expressed to someone that he had an opportunity to take out the killer and was going to do it. Yeah. Did that person do anything with that information?
Yeah, that's what we're really disturbed
That's the
about.
investigation.
It appears that this.
Yeah, no, this I really do think that. So one thing that I think the FBI needs to do is not only get the people involved that knew about this and didn't prevent it, but one thing that the FBI absolutely needs to do, and I'm just saying this, they need to start getting the people that are, justifying it and inciting more of it. Like, this is obviously a problem. Like, these people are obviously not fit to be in civil society. They are obviously anti-American fundamentally. There is absolutely no at all way that this is realistic at all. Okay? We have to be firm on this shit, because as it stands now, the FBI, it seems like to me, they're doing the absolute bare minimum to fix our country, because they don't actually want to be labeled fascists by retards. Well, you're already labeled fascist by retards. Start fucking arresting people that commit crimes. All right, when you have Destiny saying that Republicans all need to feel for their life, that dude needs to be arrested. When you have Hasan Piker saying shank those motherfuckers, let their guts fall on the street, that dude needs to get arrested. Like, we cannot live in a civil society where, 25% of the population thinks it's justifiable to kill us. I'm sorry. This is not right, okay?
This was communicated.
I know Trump said that he's going after the funders, which I think is one of the biggest updates in American politics in a long time. Again, I don't know if it's real. That's the problem. Like, everyone makes claims that they're going to do things. The problem is, I don't know if any of it's real. So here's Donald Trump saying it.
And this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people.
Oh,
and
shit.
we're going to look into Soros, because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that? Because we have radicals on the right.
I had one the other night.
Oh my God, we have radicals on the right, but both sides, Mr. President. These people have to fucking take off the kitty gloves. What are we doing? Yeah, they're killing us, but I mean, in their defense, we misgender them sometimes. So it's really like both sides. Nah, base Trump, literally you have to go after these guys. These fucking untouchable billionaires that are funding this shit and pushing this garbage.
You see this a lot, Bill, when in targeted violence cases, assassinations, school shootings, where the individual expresses in advance in a good swath of these cases his desire or her desire to do these specific things. That appears to be the case here as well, where the intent component was there in advance and the target was the target was announced in advance prior. Now, that's the part we want to know. Did they know and not say? Now, Bill, you have to keep in mind, and I don't want anyone to jump to conclusions on this. Did they say it, hear it, and think it was some kind of a joke? That's what we're trying to find out now. But I promise you, if there's a larger network here, we're going to get that out to the public as soon as we can. We really are.
Okay, the reason why this is really important to your investigation, understanding motive that I'll get to in a moment here, is that I believe that if I've got the dates right here, that event was announced 1 week before it happened. And we've got the reporting from over the weekend that said that the killer, the accused killer now, expressed views with his family at a dinner table.
Yeah, far left retard, true.
I don't know what the timeline is between when that happened. Was it hours or was it days? I mean, clearly it had to be at least a couple days, if not less. And if he also expressed this opinion that he had an opportunity to take out Kirk and was going to do it, well, when was that message transmitted? From the point that Charlie was killed?
This is the troubling part of the investigation as I see it now. There appear to have been multiple warning signs. You just laid out some of them. There were people in his network, friends and family, who had stated that he had become more political, that he had become,
in other words, a
at
lefty.
some parts, I believe some of his coworkers had stated that he had kind of detached himself when the topic of politics came.
So he detached himself from the right-wing people.
Up and walked away from them. Family members said he'd become more political, leading us to believe that this ideology had infected him and had taken over. And he was just intent years from the data we've accumulated and the channel and that note, which we have some evidence that may have existed before based on the communications in that channel, that his target was obviously going to be Charlie and that people knew in advance. The question is, again, I just want to go back to what you had asked before. Did they know? Were they sure of this? Or did they hear this and just write it off? That's what we're going to have to find out. And that's what we're investigating now. Bill, this investigation is just begun.
Good.
This isn't even the beginning of the beginning. You know, yes, we have a subject in custody. You know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in our constitutional republic. However, this is not done by any stretch.
Absolute yes. Go for all of them.
Tirelessly all week.
The conspirators, the insiders, the people that are normalizing this. We cannot live with these people as our neighbors. Okay, we cannot live with a neighbor that wants us dead. I cannot have my children taught in a school by a teacher that will dance on my grave. This is a problem.
And I just got back to D.C. Last night. And, Cash and I were out there on the scene. We walked the scene. We went through every single...
And I'll be real, this is a Karen issue, primarily. All right? It does link... In my opinion, this stems from feminism. It really does. Like, it's an issue where... Because... Like, bro, women are incredibly emotionally astute people, all right? They are emotional, more emotional than men. They are very, very into empathy, right? They're very empathetic people by nature. This isn't a bad thing or a good thing. It's a fact. It's a good thing when it comes to raising your children. It is a bad thing when it comes to empathizing with someone that wants to kill you and invade your country, all right? So, realistically, it has its upsides. It has its downsides. It's the way God made us, all right? And women also tend to be very violently protective of the things that they do empathize for. I think that when a mom defends her child, it is the most beautiful, just form of, like, savagery you fucking find out there. Man, when a mom pops off to protect her kid, it's absolutely amazing. It's wonderful. It really, really is. And we're seeing this fucking delusional, emotional, regressive, violent center with an emotional and empathetic core focused on literally the worst fucking anti-human parts of society. We're literally seeing that in real time. In real time. It's crazy.
Component of it. We saw the evidence up close and personal, and we went out there to be able to make command decisions with our team on the ground. And I think the process Although not perfect, of course, I think the process went pretty well considering we got him in 33 hours.
Okay, yeah, I respect the process here too. The governor, Cox, said he had a leftist ideology. I don't know what issues were important to him. Maybe you can share that with us today. And Kash Patel said, if I've got this right, he said, I'm looking at...
The reality is, it's unbelievable that this needs to be repeated so many times. All right, he killed a right-wing guy. He was obviously a left-wing guy, and it needs to be repeated again and again and again because the retards in the government are so, like, and the media are so quick to say he's right-wing. Like, literally, contrary to every fact, contrary to reality itself, they will call themselves, they'll say this. I think there's no better example than Jimmy Kimmel, who needs to lose his entire career over this, in my opinion. You are propagandizing the masses. You need to lose your entire career and be shunned from civil society that you're doing this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the...
So, that's insane. Sorry, that's crazy. This is vile. Bro, you're just gonna go up here and be like, and MAGA's trying their best to make believe it's not one of them. It's not. It's literally not. You are literally running defense for terrorism in our country. Literally fuck yourself. And I'm gonna make this claim now. When Jimmy Kimmel's career crashes and burns, which it will... All right, because, you know, listen, man, again, a lot of Christians believe that you have to forgive and love everybody unconditionally, but I'm a little more Old Testament in my personal values. When your career crashes and burns, and you cry, because you will cry, all right? You will cry about cancel culture when this happens. I thought the right wing was against cancel culture. You're gonna do that. I was canceled for words? No, you were canceled for running defense for terrorism. All right? Fuck you and your entire movement.
Facts, not motive. What's the working theory now as to motive?
Well, I think it's pretty clear based on the statements of family members, friends, and some of the messaging we have on these digital footprints left behind that he clearly had some obsession with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is obviously a conservative commentator. That's no secret to anyone out there. So while, again, I don't want to speak in advance and jeopardize the case in any way, I think it's fairly obvious to everyone out there,
yeah, no
and
shit.
There's no need to parse words with it, that clearly this was an ideologically motivated attack. I mean, Charlie Kirk is a conservative commentator who sadly and tragically gave his life, you know, underneath a sign asking people to challenge his ideas, the very essence of our constitutional republican. Yeah. Bill, you know, if I may, I know it's a news show, but...
What a legend, man.
You know, Charlie was my friend. Charlie wasn't my friend. Charlie was my good friend. And I spent the weekend, you know, after coming back from Utah, looking through text exchanges going back years with Charlie. And it's kind of hard to believe he's not here. So, you know, this has been hard for everyone. And I think it's fair and appropriate for every one of the taxpayers who finances your FBI to ask questions about everything. You know what? It wasn't perfect, but it should be. Next time we'll try to make it more perfect. Mm-hmm. But I just ask everyone to keep in mind that both Kash and I, this was very emotional for us. We had to put that aside. We had a job to do. And when everything settled down and finally got a little bit of sleep last night, it hit me that, you know, Charlie's not here anymore. And that was tough for everyone. So I'm not asking for anybody's forgiveness for missteps here and there. We got our guy in 33 hours. Everything, we're going to go look at everything when this is done. And next time, when there's a crisis, what we can do well, we can do better, we can do better, we can do even better than that.
Yeah, Dan, I'm sorry for your loss. And I appreciate your work in the story and the investigation. It's important to America and the world.
Tragedy. What an unbelievable tragedy. Now, before we actually look at the killer talking, all right, they actually fucking cooked. All right, they cooked in the Senate because, of course, obviously, the people on the left are not very happy the way this is going down because, you know, people are starting to wake up and realize that despite all of the media propaganda, the left wing is basically an endorsement of terrorist organizations. So this is Ted Cruz, a senator in the Senate, absolutely going scorched earth on the fucking retards that are going around trying to make believe this isn't a problem.
I want to encourage you in the course of this investigation, absolutely go after anyone who aided and abetted. But I want to more broadly encourage you, follow the money.
That's right, baby.
The violence we are seeing is not purely organic.
Agreed.
There is, I believe, significant money that is spreading dissension, that is spreading violence. Antifa Do you believe Antifa is a terrorist organization?
Oh, shit.
I believe Antifa is associated with a lot of violence in this country. As to its designation, I'll leave that to the appropriate authorities.
So I would encourage the administration to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization, to go systematically after Antifa. They've committed acts of violence all over the country. And the shell casings have multiple references to slogans that Antifa has popularized. I believe there is...
The Bella Ciao thing, the fucking anti-fascist catch thing. Yeah, no, this is obviously Antifa shit, but it's more than that. It's the Antifa shit. It's I think it's a lot of the far left like retard shit. The Free Palestine stuff that comes very, very hand in hand with the river to the sea, kill the Jews type shit. You know, where they firebombed the house of Josh Shapiro, a senator, a Democrat senator. No one cared because like, bro, you're gonna blame that on the left? Of course not. But like literally, this is insane. There's a problem on the far left.
Is considerable money.
It's a communism problem. It's a radical Islam problem, and it's very, very obvious.
Funding it. I would note that I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act. Stop Funders Act would add rioting to the list of predicate offenses under RICO.
Based.
I believe the money should be tracked and prosecuted under RICO, and both the Antifa and Black Lives Matter riots of a couple of years ago and the pro-open border riots in Los Angeles and other cities of this past year. There was significant money behind those riots. I'm not the only person who noticed at the anti-Semitic protest and violent protests on college campuses that many of the tents all matched. And so I would ask, would it aid your ability to prosecute these matters if Congress passed into law the Stop Funders Act and if rioting was added to the list of predicate offenses for RICO?
Yes.
Oh, shit! Yeah, we're moving. I really hope we're moving, man. There are issues. I don't want another Charlie Kirk assassination, okay? It's awful.
Are you investigating any domestic cells that instigate or encourage or fund or in any way support attacks on churches or other houses of worship?
Senator, you raise an incredibly important point that most people don't look at. I've always said we follow the money. And whether it's terrorism or attacks based on ideology or attacks on institutions of faith or people of faith, someone's paying for it, and we are reverse tracing those steps. We are not stopping at the perpetrator themselves. We are reverse engineering to hold those accountable in our investigations to who funded them and knowingly funded them, and we will bring the appropriate steps against them with our partners at DOJ.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. We look forward to hearing reports on that progress.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, by the way, for the record. Just me personally, I think, like, we're dealing with an issue here, okay? We are dealing with an over-medicated population of propagandized lunatics. So when Hasan Piker says, kill people, or when Destiny says, kill people, or when people say shit like that, and they're talking to a population of medicated, retarded fuckers, you really don't think one or two are going to commit acts of violence? Dude, we have such a problem. It's crazy. Let's see the actual news. So he's officially charged with the murder. This is his first court appearance. This Tyler Robinson motherfucker. This piece of shit lowlife that wiped out a wonderful man.
This is happening in court now, folks. That is Tyler Robinson appearing via video link. Let's listen in.
Very well. And I thank you for being here. So, Mr. Robinson, you have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court can appoint an attorney to represent you. I have reviewed your declaration of financial status and find that you are indigent. I'm provisionally appointing a Rule 8 qualified attorney to represent you on your case, Mr. Robinson. Along with the filing of their appearance of counsel, the assigned attorneys must file declarations with the court that outline their qualifications under Rule 8 and under Rule 8B and Rule 8C for counsel appointment in a case where death may be a sentencing option. I'm ordering that those declarations be filed prior to the next hearing set for September 29th.
Bro said to his face, death is an option. And the craziest thing is, in this warped cretin's mind, I bet you he's like, yeah, I was justified. My life is worth it for the cause, right? Again, because these are people that don't respect or value life at all. There is no inherent good in the world, all right? If you are an Antifa, leftoid, furry, godless heathen, all right, life is not inherently beautiful or valuable. In his mind, I think, he's like, yeah, I sacrificed my life, but I took out that fascist. This is the craziest part, man. This is an actual nightmare. Like, this is why the McCarthyism was a thing, and they were deporting communists.
At 10 a.m. Mr. Robinson, I also wish to inform you of your right against self-incrimination. Anything that you say in court today could be used against you, and we want to protect your constitutional rights. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail. Mr. Skordas, is there any other points that...
Of course, without bail. He's not mentally ill. He's not a mentally ill man of specific ethnicities.
You wish to address?
No, thank you very much.
Turning to the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Chad Grunander for the state. I'm also joined, and they're listed as attendees, Ryan McBride, Lauren Hunt, David Sturgill, and Chris Ballard. We are the trial team on this case. I do have a few points I'd like to bring up with Your Honor. We have filed a pretrial protective order on behalf of Erica Kirk. Wow. We would ask the court to review that. It should be in your queue, Your Honor, and sign that.
Thank you.
Dude,
I
can't imagine her going through this, dude. Like, she's left with the honestly Herculean impossible task of keeping up his life's work going, with at the same time, you know, raising a family and mourning while the internet is celebrating her husband's murder. Like, I can't imagine what she's going through, man.
Pretrial protective order, and will be issuing this pretrial protective order in favor of Erica Kirk. Is there any other business that we need to address today, counsel?
Just for the court's information, we did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the
soul in his eyes. Holy crap.
Court's file. Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information in bringing these charges within 5 days once it's requested. So that'll be prepared to disseminate to the defense as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Grander. Mr. Robinson, what I also want to do is you have the right to have the charges read that you stand charged of. And I wish to read those to you at this time.
All right. Charges. Let's see it. Dude, this is unreal.
Mr. Robinson, for count 1.
Just because he wanted to get sodomized by a furry trans freak. It's unbelievable, man. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing?
Aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202.
Next, do you think he was given the idea to assassinate Charlie with someone up on high? I'll be honest with you. I just think that the most logical conclusion is the correct one. I think that these are just horrible, radicalized, lobotomized, propagandized, over-medicated, fringe retards that are just so easily pushed to do this. Like, I don't even think they need specific orders. I think when you have Hasan Piker calling for violence, when you have Destiny calling for violence, when you have the Young Turks calling for violence, when you have the media labeling all the enemies as fucking Nazis and as fascists, I think everyone that uses the argument, it's just one mentally ill guy that was working alone, like, it's impossible to think that. It's impossible to think that. Why did he go kill Charlie Kirk and he didn't kill a cashier in a 7-Eleven? I think we all know the reason, okay? We all know the reason. By the fact that he planned through this very complicated assassination instead of just murdering somebody on a train, it just really makes it very obvious that this person is not just an unhinged guy that needed to kill someone. It was obviously an influence. And the entire culture that surrounds this is evil. And again, that's why there can never be a two sides shit.
In that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years that may be for life.
Yeah, that's not enough, man.
Victim target.
Yeah, 25 years, not even close. No, death penalty. Absolutely. What are we doing?
Targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson.
Do you think that the people that push the propaganda are paid? Of course they are. Obviously they are. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Obviously they're paid to push it. Dude, Hasan Piker makes money on Twitch. All right? Destiny makes money on YouTube. Vosh, the Young Turks, they're all making money doing this. The more radical they are, the more excited their audience and bloodthirsty their audience gets. An audience of fucking soulless, godless heathens that are more than happy and more than excited to pick up arms for some communist revolution that everyone's fucking pushing. Dude, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
And intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony, in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-11-210 sub 2 and 3C, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie Kirk, knowing or having reason to believe that Charlie Kirk may be endangered by the discharge of the firearm, and that the act caused serious bodily injury to Charlie Kirk. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies.
Dude, there's no way. By the way, one of the reasons why I'm so frustrated also is because Luigi Mangione, who executed the healthcare CEO allegedly, is out. They debunked they're saying, all right, no death penalty for that guy. That's terrorism, all right? And dude's literally fucking getting off. We can't do this shit. We can't play these games. I don't understand why we're not enforcing the law immediately.
And parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child, aggravating factor. The sentencing
If this dude doesn't get the death penalty, America is forever fucked.
Judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent offense in the presence of a child. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code.
I'm sorry. I'm interrupting it so many times. I keep seeing things in my chat that I don't want to mention. Luigi Mangione murdered somebody. No reason. Literally no fucking reason. Sorry, no reason. He should absolutely get the death penalty. Just execute someone in broad daylight. The leftists cheered him on. This guy murders someone in broad daylight. The leftists cheer him on. So you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, maybe the left is all for, violent, one-sided political assassinations. They are. But what if I told you it was much worse than that? Because I see people in my chat saying that they support killing fascists or whatever. Do you remember when there was a flood in Texas and 11 Christian kids were wiped away in the flood about 2 months ago and they were killed? Do you remember people saying, oh, well, it was an all-white school, so fuck them? You remember those reactions? Where they cheered for children getting killed in a flood? It's very obvious that it's they don't value human life and they want you dead kind of situation. That's kind of what we're dealing with. And ignoring that is signing your death warrant.
Annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2. In that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information,
get him on
a
fucking
document,
everything.
or an item to
Everything.
directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony, in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-508.
Roommate!
In that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information.
That's right.
To wit, directing his
jail the roommate too. Or at least, dude, we really need to open the asylums. Like, we make these jokes, bro. Like, we make these memes and shit. No, the asylums need to open. MAGA, make asylums great again. It needs to happen, right? There's obviously an issue here. Like, you're telling me that this dude had a roommate who saw him engraving anti-fascist shit on bullets, okay? That knew he was the killer and didn't turn him in, all right? In my opinion, probably knew more than that, but that's at least the evidence we have. Like, you're telling me that that person shouldn't be in a fucking asylum forever? You want that person sitting next to you on a train? You want that person fucking becoming a school teacher because the the transgender person to become a school teacher and indoctrinate your children pipeline seems to exist? Like, what the fuck is happening?
Roommate to stay silent if the police question the roommate. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 76-3-203.14 sub 3a little double I, in that on or about September 10th, 2025.
How are they ever going to get an unbiased jury, bro? Everyone knew Charlie Kirk. This is crazy.
In Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission of the criminal homicide. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression.
Obviously.
That concludes reading the information. Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gurander, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
Well, that right there is Charlie Kirk's alleged killer, Tyler Robinson, who has just appeared in court for the first time since September 10 when Charlie...
What a fucking nightmare, man. All right. Anyway, thanks so much for being here, everyone. We got to make our country better. I see a lot of people in discussion on the internet about, who gets to fill the shoes of Charlie Kirk, who takes over. I saw some people saying it should be Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, literally polar opposites, hilarious enough. It should be, and everyone comes up with their own person that should take over. All right, I'll give you the only correct answer. We all need to take over for Charlie Kirk. Every single one of us needs to open up discussions and debates and talk and explain and fight back against the propaganda machine that is literally propagandizing a generation. No one will ever fill Charlie Kirk's shoes. He was unique and special, and this is I am Spartacus moment. Thanks so much for being here. God is good. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.